pledge allegiance to the
To the flag
of
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Fort Lee Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published on October 29th, 2020, and posted on the district website at www.flboe.com, published in the board's designated online media outlet Newspaper of the Record, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Fort Lee, and mailed to all persons, if any, who've requested said notice. Please be advised that this meeting is being taped and may be broadcasted on local TV and the district's website at a future date. The Open Public Meeting Act allows for remote participation at board meetings and defines meeting as any gathering, whether corporeal or by means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all members of a public body, held with the intent on the part of the members of the body present to discuss or act as a unit upon the specific public business of that body. Roll call, please.
Ms. Cho.
Here.
Mrs. Morel. Mr. Rubino.
Here.
Ms. Colbath.
here.
Mrs. Richter.
Here.
Ms. Tuck.
Here.
Mr. DeMeglio.
Here.
Ms. Ramba.
Here.
Just going to go back to Ms. Morel.
Here.
And Mrs. On Silver.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. I believe, I thought I had it in here, Janet, Mr. McKeever, but before we proceed, do we need to do the resolution to make you our secretary for the meeting? Before
Yeah,
we
so
proceed?
just simple. It's, if you like, it would be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints Dennis McKeever to serve as Secretary Pro Tem for the November 2nd, 2020 board meeting.
Okay, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion second.
Okay, motion Morel, seconded by Ramba.
Okay. Just do a roll call just because it's an appointment, I guess. Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Ms. Colbath.
Yes.
Mr. DeMeglio.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Ms. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Ramba.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Mrs. Tuck.
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
I'm Secretary Pro Tem.
All right, thank you. Let me find my place again. The board convened executive session at 6:30 today to discuss legal, personnel, and other confidential matters. Mr. Rhoda, will you begin by sharing the superintendent's report?
Thank you, Ms. On Silver. To start with, I'll give our HIB report. We have had 5 investigations since the last board meeting. One of those investigations was founded. The consequences and details of the meeting were shared with the board in closed session. Secondly, I'd like to mention that the board, the school district is still moving along through the hybrid model. We're having success with that right now. And hopefully keep it going and keep making progress as we see what happens out in the community. I do want to mention also that for the next board meeting, we will have a new board meeting process in place. More details will be sent to the public as that is finalized. The board would prefer to meet in person and will be utilizing a space in the district where we can host the meeting in person as well as invite a limited number of the public and do a simultaneous Zoom meeting to meet with the criteria established by the state statutes. So there'll be more details going out about that from the board as we get closer to the next meeting date, which is 2 weeks from today. That's it, Ms. On Silver. It's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. So for those of you who are participating virtually, you will still have that option. We'll be doing our own version of a hybrid model, like the kids have been doing. So we'll be in person at school, and some of you have the option to join us in person at school or join us from the comfort of your home. So it will be a true hybrid model, I guess.
And-
Yes, Mike, you had,
just maybe inform the public, it's going to be very limited space-wise as far as public participation,
yes.
live participation.
Yeah, so due to the governor's restriction of, there's a 25-person limit on indoor gatherings, so we do still have to abide by that limit. And because of the number of people, just by virtue of the board, the administration, legal representation, and IT, would probably be, there will be a limit on how many people from the public can attend. So we'll probably have some sort of a sign up or some mechanism so you'll know. We don't want people just showing up and being left out and having to, go back to their car and rush home to log on or to just dial in, from the parking lot. So we will, have some sort of a mechanism for people to sign up so they'll know whether or not they can attend in person if they want to. So we will be, having some sort of a system in place, in time for the meeting in 2 weeks. So thanks, Mike. All right, so we will move on. I'll go with committee reports. I don't know if we have any committee reports to share today.
Not really, but legislative committee, I think it's worth noting that last week Governor Murphy announced his nomination of Angelica Allen McMillan to serve as the next commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Education.
Thank you. All right. Moving along that vein, I don't know if anyone wanted to share their experiences from workshop. If anyone had any notable experiences that they wanted to, share with the group, feel free. I don't know if you had time to grab your notes or prepare anything beforehand. But yeah, I'd love to hear. I'm sure even in the public might want to hear about it. If anyone wants to go first.
Ms. Son Silver, I don't have my papers because I mixed them up both my schoolwork, but I'd like to follow up next time. But I will say that I enjoyed watching them at home, but also that we're going to be able to go back and see the ones that we didn't see, which we never get to do when we're there in person. I do miss AC, but it was very nice the way it was run.
Yeah, I think for me, it was for me, I have to say for me, honestly, it was a lot harder. For me, I did try to and it was just, forget it. I tried to see if I could multitask it, but it was just impossible. So I tried to, dedicate chunks of time whenever I could. But in all honesty, I'm in the midst of like a major endeavor at work right now. So I just couldn't dedicate the time. So I think I only attended, I tried to listen to the keynotes and then I only was able to attend a few sessions, but I did note down, I still have my copy of the schedule. So I marked off the ones that I want to try to go back and listen to, because they are recorded. Yep.
Yeah, I could chime in there. I thought the keynote was great. And there were a lot of sessions. They had specifically the COVID-19 tab. And one of the ones that I enjoyed or found informative, culturally responsive practices in remote/hybrid learning. And two pieces that were interesting there. One was a new source of recruitment of diverse educators. And the other was just seeing how they fleshed out in the virtual space, how to create windows and mirrors for students. So the concept that you need a window to look into other cultures, because you never know someday who you'll go to as an investor, who you'll go to as a doctor, and being able to relate to that, but also the importance of seeing yourself reflected in a mirror in a classroom space for empowerment and confidence in the learning environment. So was a well done presentation. And as you said, the slides are available.
I haven't watched all the ones that I wanted to because I knew that they would be available. I think we get to watch them for a year. So I'll report on a couple of interesting ones at the next meeting.
So I actually attended all 3 days and it was pretty grueling. I think there were over 6,000 participants, and I was on number 18 on the leaderboard, so I wanted to represent Fort Lee. So that was a pretty difficult task, to be honest with you. I couldn't figure out how to get more points, but at least I was in the top 20 for Fort Lee, so yay, go Fort Lee. I went to many different workshops. A lot of the focus was on equity and the digital divide, which is pretty cool. There was also some programs, whether it be for SAT prep or tutoring, etc., that were really unique ideas. And I have been actually sending some questions to Diane Baker and to Hakisha to possibly look into different tools that our district could use at low cost as well, which is pretty neat. Things that really struck me was actually I went to a workshop on the first day. It was about student achievement and the digital divide. And lo and behold, we had Equity Council member Penelope Latimer as one of the speakers, she's phenomenal. And a lot of the information that I got from there, I think I'll try to write everything up and send a synopsis out to people because there was quite a lot of really good information. Even though I think it started at 9 o'clock in the morning, Esther, if you can remind me, and it ended at 4, sometimes 5 o'clock actually in the evening on certain days. And so it was quite a lot of information, but a majority of the seminars I think were just packed with so much good information that I definitely encourage everybody to go and check out. But Esther, you mentioned that equity is still kind of a very debated topic, or it's nothing that's really I guess set as a goal for every single district. But I really did feel at this workshop that it was definitely more of a buzzword, and especially with Corona and the impact of remote learning. So excited to see what this community will bring.
Okay, great. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add. In the meantime, for any parents or anyone in the public listening, what we are actually sharing and talking about, there is an annual New Jersey School Boards conference that's held in Atlantic City at the end of October every year. So this year, due to the COVID pandemic, they didn't cancel it. It was actually held in a virtual forum. So even though we couldn't actually all go and attend, we were still able to participate, and they still put together a great program, on a wide range of topics, all related to education, something I think that we're all really passionate about. So it was really great to see the range of topics that they still were able to put together, with the panelists and everything else. So thank you to everybody. And so, yeah, the link is still active. And I think Paula or Elisa mentioned the recordings are up for a year. So you can go back and see everything, which is kind of nice because you know what, there were other years when we would go down in person and, sometimes there would be things that you wanted to go to, but they were all at the same time. So this is kind of nice that you can go back and see things at your leisure. So, okay, great. Thank you for sharing. We will move on. Do board members have questions or comments on tonight's agenda or any other topic? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion, Colbath.
Okay. Motion Colbath, and I also heard Ms. Cho, so seconded by Cho. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, so we will use the raise hand feature of Zoom to identify the order in which public comments will be shared. If you have a public comment to share, please select participants from the bottom center of your Zoom screen. From there, select the raise hand button from the bottom right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. Jason Ruggiero, who is joining us tonight, the District Technology Coordinator, will recognize each community member in the order of the raised hands by lowering the hand and unmuting the microphone if you're muted. Please then state your name and home address for the record and begin your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Jason, are there any raised hands for public comments on tonight's agenda or any other topic?
Yes, there are. Our first comment is going to come from David Garib. Mr. David Garib, I'm going to promote you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, 555 North Avenue, Midwest. I just had a question. Both of my sons are currently in the hybrid program. They're in Group A. But due to COVID, naturally, they're scheduled to go the week of Thanksgiving. So I want to keep them in the program, but in order to be around for social distancing, if there's a policy where they could stay home those 2 days. And then a second question I had, since I'm hearing that a lot of students are opting out of the hybrid and they're going 100% virtual, is there any talk at all of allowing students to go the extra days? I realize it might be a lot to plan out, but if there's in some cases 1 or 2 students in the classroom and it's not being fully utilized, is there any discussion to open it up to go more than just their 2 days? That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think answers are at the end.
Oh yeah, we'll answer all the questions at the end. Thank you, David.
Thanks. Our next comment is going to come from Kino Song. Kino Song, I've promoted you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, 244 Harmon Avenue, and my son goes to kindergarten at Mr. Mendoza's class, and this is our first experience, my first kid going to Fort Lee Public School. And my concern right now is mainly surrounded, it's mainly on the specials. So we're extremely happy with Mr. Mendoza. And the hybrid seems to work out for us. We participate in cohort B, and the kids all like it, and I've talked to other parents, it's great. Now the specials, the way it's being carried out is very challenging for kindergarten specifically, because I'm not sure if you guys looked at the curriculum or looked at the seesaw. Basically, it's a recorded video, anywhere from 30 seconds to like 3 minutes. And then they are asked to follow certain instructions and then submit some homework. And sometimes it's they have to type, and sometimes they have to record stuff, sometimes they have to make a project. And I'm all fine with all the curriculum. However, I think in the education, you have to consider who and where, basically the setting of the education. My challenge has been, and I have other parents who share this concern, is that first of all, they're not able to complete it independently. So it is logistically challenging for parents like me who work full time, and I only have a little bit, after dinner time with them. The most challenging part is I'm literally becoming the teacher that study from the teacher and look at the instruction and really then pass this knowledge or technique that I'm not even good at to my kid. So I was thinking, I had a discussion with Victoria, the PTA VP, and I hope she's hearing as well. We were thinking maybe there is a way that we can bring it on live as well, because if Mr. Mendoza is able to do it, and there is some spare time on Wednesday, why can't we have a live session? And I understand all the logistics, but I'm not requesting every week or anything. I'm just thinking my kid doesn't even know those teachers well. And this is really specific to kindergarten because they're just not able to read those instructions and follow along. And they just, my kid specifically loses interest if it's just the homework. So that's all I have to say. It's a concern, and I'm looking to see if there is any feasible solutions. And I'm open to anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Kino-san. Our next comment comes from Julene. Julene, you've been promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes. Julene?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
I'm at 2041 Edwin Avenue. I have 3 things to say. Number one, I wanted to give a shout out to Miss Reska and Miss Ortega, who are doing just a fabulous job at the intermediate school. They've really gone above and beyond, as well as all the teachers. I feel very safe sending my son there, and I feel that all of them have just put in 150%, and I know it's not easy. I also wanted to ask, I had heard that there were some cases, and basically I had a lot of phone calls asking me what we were doing about it. I'm not really sure if we, what the law states, if there's 1 case, if there's 2 cases. I know some schools shut down. I don't know what our protocol is. So what are we using to clean that classroom? What are we doing, to find out if anybody came in contact with this person? Like, do we have a team? Do we have a Corona team set up in all of the schools that are, work on this when something like this happens? So that was a big question of mine. And the third thing I want to say is just to remind everyone to vote tomorrow. Big election. Good luck to everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Julene.
Welcome.
Next, we have Glennis Santana. Glennis, I've promoted you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm under my mom's, but my name is Desiree Schwartz. I'm a high school student. Our address is 2348 Linwood Avenue. I just have some concerns based on some of the clubs in our school. I know, I'm the president of Camera Club. I know we were left out of the list that was going to be approved. And Key Club, there's just certain clubs that were left out. So I'm just concerned on what we're gonna do for that. I'm a senior, so I'm not very athletic. So my thing is more volunteering in clubs. So I just wanna know if there's anything we can do virtually just to continue to pursue with our clubs, and just so that I can continue to build my college resume. It's an important year for me and other, other of my classmates too. So we all just wanna know what's gonna happen with some of our clubs. And that's all. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Our next comment comes from Sabrina Miasowitz. Sabrina, I've promoted you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, my address is 1380 Abbott Boulevard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry. My son is in 1st grade at School 1 in Mrs. Rackus and Miss Sikoriak's class. I just wanted to add to the comments that were made about the specials. And I know that you guys have heard me speak about this before, so I apologize for repeating myself. But I 100% agree with the parent who was speaking before about the difficulty of getting the specials work done when you are a working parent. In my family, both of us are working full time, and we have a 2-year-old in addition to our 1st grader. And, he's not able to complete any of the specials work on his own. So it really does take a lot of time. I want him to be exposed to this stuff, but it's a matter of priority in like what we can get done, if it was something that was able to be done in a live session where he could, you know, follow along with the teacher once a week, they could probably even do multiple grades together. That might be something where he could do it without having to have someone basically teach him it. It would be a lot easier for the parents. So, you know, some flexibility would be really helpful. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next comment comes from Victoria Kim. Victoria Kim, I've promoted you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, this is Victoria. I live at 2190 McKay Avenue, and today I'm speaking on behalf of School 1 PTA as a VP. Personally, I have one daughter in grade 1. The remote learning experience is going great for my daughter because she is in inclusive class where there are 2 teachers and 1 professional. So I don't think I can really complain, but be thankful. But I would like to address 3 concerns as a School 1 PTA VP. At last BOE meeting, I questioned the status about hiring more sub-teachers and technical support, and I heard that between those two periods, like in the past 2 weeks, that there are more subs available, but they are placed in the classroom with more than 7 in-person students. So it's a great news, but not all teachers are getting assistance. And still, you know, all the teachers have, you know, 20 students in the classroom. So I believe our teachers need help and our students need more attention from teachers, especially for kindergarten and 1st grade children. As you probably know, how many times being called by the teacher will change their mood or attitude toward learning. So my question is, have you considered as a Board of Education, purchasing like 65-inch TV for at least, kindergarten or grade 1 younger kids classes so that it can be placed at the back of the classroom. So, teachers could have more visibility, give more attention to all the remote students equally. That way, the teachers could give more attention to the students, and also students can focus more to teachers because they're getting more attention basically. So that's one question. And the other one is, could you also purchase wireless webcams for teachers who are putting in the middle of the classroom? Because currently teachers have like long cables to connect to computers, and I don't think it's safe for students, especially young students, because they can trip over. And I don't think teachers should purchase those. It is Board of Education who is responsible for our children's safety. So I hope you can look into this and make purchases for our children. I only have 8 seconds. I echo the concern that was raised by Mrs. Song. My time is up, so I don't know if I should continue. So, I mean, I totally understand with the live sessions for our younger kids, especially K to 1 grade. So it'll be great if you can make it live, because we did spoke to Mrs. Giacomelli about it, but she's already done a lot, putting live office hours and little P classes. But the, changing to live is not on her hands, right? It's a part of the reopening plan across the district. So I hope you can make changes to that. That will be very helpful for parents. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Our next participant is going to be Tanya B. Tanya B., I've promoted you to panelist. please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have
Okay. Okay,
minutes.
hold on, start my video. My name is Tanya Byers King, and I live at 275 Tom Hunter Road. Hello, everyone. Have a good evening. So the last person, Victoria, spoke, introduced herself as the VP from the PTA. I stand at the moment as the president of the PTA. She and I did not have a discussion on anything that she said. So therefore, I just want to make that known. I'm speaking from a parent's perspective, not from a PTA perspective. My question is about the cohorts, like at the middle school today, cohort B went, and at the school number 1, cohort A went. So tomorrow there's no school. So in my mind, I thought the next day that we go to school, they would go to school so that they would get their 2 days. But in reality, they don't get their 2 days. So I was just wondering if that had been taken into consideration down the line, so that the number of in-person days for the people that are going get those number of days. I feel safe. I know that there have been so many provisions put in place for our children's safety. I know the teachers are safe, are being safe, and the children are doing all the things that they need to. The in-person learning is wonderful. Both of my children love going and would love to go more. I feel very fortunate that they're able to go. Shout out to the custodians for working very hard and making everything happen, to the administrators, to the teachers that work so hard. Everybody, I'm very pleased with everything that's happening. But I was just wondering if we had like an overall, hopefully everybody that wants to go to school gets to go to school the same amount of days or as much as possible. And I think that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, next we have 5 Victoria Place, Fort Lee. I have promoted you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record and share your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted also to support the previous comment about the cohort, because in the middle school, we don't actually have 2 times a week. We have 2 times in 10 days. And so my son went last Monday, Tuesday, and he was supposed to go Thursday, Friday this week. And so he's not going. So next time it's going to be like, you know, it's like once in 2 weeks or something. So, and of course, safety is the first priority. And we are very thankful to teachers and administration that they make it safe. But middle school probably needs to be discussed to have at least 2 times a week for each cohort. And my son says that it's like 1-2 kids per class. So maybe it can be increased to 3-4 per class, still maintaining social distancing and with the masks. I hear some students are disappointed and actually want to opt out. And I think part of it, because it's like just 1-2 students at a class, so they feel like really lonely as compared to the majority of the student body. But I do want to thank some of the teachers who actually interact with the kids, because my major concern was that it was too much of the screen time, and I'm happy that my son is get involved in some of the discussion with the teachers, and I hope that the district will work in this direction, and there will be more engagement of students who are in class, so they don't feel like isolated and boring sitting 1-2 kids at a class. So again, I know that safety, as we go to the winter season, there might be slight increase in COVID cases because people get inside. This is not school related. This is just the situation in New Jersey. We have indoor dining open. We have people, gathering, even high school students have parties and, Halloween parties, whatever. Thanksgiving is coming, but So that's why we have to maintain the distance and the masks to prevent transmission in schools. But I wonder if if the middle school is in discussion, because it's not even 2 times a week, which makes it kind of like, you know, very unfortunate. Thank you.
Jason, I'm not sure what you're doing when the speakers stop, but they're being eliminated and they're trying to get back in, and there's some message that comes up that they're being blocked so that they won't be able to hear the answers at the end.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I've got 2 that's happened to. I could tell you what the message says, but there's some message about you're not permitted to rejoin or.
All right. I apologize for that. I'm not sure what it is. It may be how I'm removing them from the panelist.
Yeah, it says leave webinar. You are unable to rejoin this meeting because you were previously removed by the host.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. All
Okay.
right.
It's just all those people that were waiting for their
Oh,
answers. They're
I'm
the
so
only
sorry.
ones that won't be able to hear it.
I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I don't see that we have any more comments. For all of those people, I will post this thing first thing in the morning so they can see the responses to their comments. I apologize that. This is my first time doing this, and a learning curve. I might have hit the wrong button instead of removing them from the panelist. Yes.
Jason, I mean, it's your first time, but is there any way now, by any chance, of you just putting some link or something for them to be able to rejoin, maybe?
So if someone just said they went to a new device and were able to dial in.
I was just gonna say, that's what I had to do.
Okay.
I had to do that at this meeting as well.
Yeah.
I'm just checking right now.
Technology, you gotta love it, huh, Jason?
Yeah, let's see. I can do it here. Just bear with me.
Yeah. We have all night.
Speak for yourself.
I just want everybody to hear their answers and not have
Yeah.
to.
Oh, no, definitely. No, I agree. I'm going through the list.
Yeah.
Some of the people are back. You know, they must have logged on other ways. So, you know, some of the names are back. So I do see some names back. So it's not everybody, but we do want to make sure we get them all. I'm going through.
Yeah, maybe Jason can just post it to our website for them to just get back on or something.
Yeah.
No, or we can text them or something. Okay, they're back. Okay, yeah.
Paula, do you still have people that can't get back?
I don't think.
I got a text from someone that they used a different device and
Yeah.
they're back on from earlier. But.
Okay.
I don't see Julene back on, and I don't see Sabrina Miezowitz.
The thing is, if they used a different device, it might be under a number.
Yeah, it'll be on a different name. No, but some of them are under like another member of the family, so I do see it. So far we're missing 2 people, as far as I can tell. Looks like we're missing 2 of the previous commenters.
I think I found the setting. I just need to have very close. Allow removed participants to rejoin. Here it is. Okay.
Bingo.
There we go.
Bingo.
There you go.
So they should be able to rejoin now. I apologize for that.
Oh my God, 10. You're gonna have to give Jason more money.
No.
And I said that in public.
Maybe he planned that on purpose so you would say that.
You give me too much
I
credit.
love Jason. Jason is phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
All right, should we get to the answers?
All right. Yeah, I think, all right. So may I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Motion Morel.
Second.
All right, motion Morel, seconded by Demeglio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, seeing none. Mr. Rhoda?
Thank you, Ms. Silver, and thank you, Mr. Ruggiero, for working that out. Appreciate your effort. Just to kind of group a couple things together here in response, there were several questions about the cohorts and the cohort size. That is something we are looking at on a daily basis to see how those numbers are. If the numbers dictate that we can bring people back and increase their time within the social distancing and the numbers being safe, allowing us to maintain our distancing and number of people in the cohorts, we're looking to do that. Particularly now at the high school and the middle school that have the 3 cohorts because of the number of students who have opted for remote instruction. So that's something we are looking at very carefully right now this week to see if it's possible to increase in-building time for those students, particularly there. That is something. Someone had asked about their child or children staying home or attending remotely on certain days. If you have a specific question regarding your child's or children's attendance, I would ask you to contact the building principal directly and explain your situation, and they'll be able to walk through it with you. So that's the easiest way to deal with that. But just to assure everyone, we are looking at adding days if we can, but it really becomes a question of safety. We do not have the flexibility in all of our classes and all of our grade levels to allow everyone to come back. It would make the cohorts too crowded. But specifically now, we're seeing the change at the middle school and high school because of the increase in remote. So we are going to keep looking at that and hopefully be able to move forward in that in the near future. Hopefully even as soon as next week if the numbers are okay and it works out. As far as the specials for the kindergarten and first grade is what I'm hearing. That is another thing we are looking at. We're always looking at the process with the administration to talk about what we can do better. The problem with the specials, not the problem really, the challenge is what someone had mentioned, and it's logistics, because those specials teachers teach every student in the building for the most part. And we are trying to utilize them in other ways to help out throughout the building. So they're doing their recorded lessons that way. But we're always looking to improve and to change. And that will be something that Mrs. Baker and I discuss with the building principals to see if there is a way of increasing that time and hopefully get some interaction, more live interaction with those primary grades to encourage those students to participate. As far as, I'm just trying to go through the list here. There was a question from a high school student about clubs. As I mentioned at the board meetings, the clubs are being approved as the principals bring them to me on a case-by-case basis. We have in the district in the past well over 300 co-curricular activities. And this year, because it's a unique year, we realize that not all of them will be able to operate, but the ones that can operate in a remote environment are being approved. There's a number on there tonight. So I would encourage that student, Ms. Schwartz, to speak to her club advisor and also to the building principal or vice principal and ask them about the clubs being approved, because any ones that are coming through, as long as we can be sure that they'll be able to function on a remote environment, we're going to approve them. As I said, there's a number on there tonight. So it's really up for the advisor to go to the administration and say, I'm doing this, I can do this remotely, and then we'll move forward on it. So I'd encourage you to do that. Speak to your advisor and speak to the administration at the school and have it set up when it comes to my desk and I review it, then we'll go on the agenda. There was another question regarding some positive cases in the district. We have had a few positive cases in the district, and when that occurs, we do respond. The administrative team and the school nurses have been doing a great job in responding to these cases, in working with the Fort Lee Department of Health, the health officer, and both of them over there, Ms. Lee and Ms. Scarpa, have been great to work with, and we've been assisting them in the contact tracing. They've been giving us direct input. We handle each case that comes up individually, so we look at it from that lens of what happened with that student, what needs to be traced, what's the actual situation. We work with the health office to determine the best course of action and then follow up that way. The rooms in the buildings are all cleaned routinely, but if we do have a situation where there is a student that is tested positive or a staff member, we bring the custodians in, we relocate, basically close that classroom, and then do a thorough cleaning prior to the usual cleaning that occurs every night. So we're trying to stay on top of that as far as we can and work on that. So there is a team in place. It is the building administrative team working with their nurses, who, once again, I said, have done an exceptional job of really stepping up and addressing these things, and working with the local health officers, who have been a great resource and a great team to work with to make sure that we are doing everything safely and according to the book. And I would encourage everyone to vote as well, because it's election day, and I try and encourage everyone to vote all the time. The most important thing you do as a citizen is to vote. We are looking also at more technology support for the teachers. We have provided, I believe it's 80 webcams already in the district that we've purchased and distributed. We are looking, when the teachers ask for something, we look for the feasibility of getting them what they need. The large screen TV monitors is something we're looking into. Right now, it's a little cost prohibitive, so we're looking at other options that may be helpful, particularly if the teachers have requested it. So we're trying to meet all of those needs. And there was a question about the cohort days. When the calendars were put together, the principals were charged with making sure that all the cohorts had equal amounts of days in the building, whether you be an A or a B or a C. So that was built into the original calendar put forth. Provided we don't have any snow days or anything like that, there should be no change in that, and all the days should be equally divided amongst the different cohorts, which is a whole nother question whether we actually ever have a snow day again, but that's a whole nother topic for another time. We are trying to add subs in the district. The subs are not placed in specific classes. The subs are placed as they're needed throughout the building. We have been able to secure subs for each building on a daily basis that only report to that building, so that they don't travel back and forth. So each building has dedicated subs. We're also trying to add more subs for daily absences now, especially as the winter increases and the likelihood of staff being ill or other family situations arising comes up. We need to have a stronger base. So we are trying to actively recruit more subs to work throughout the district, but they're assigned on an as-needed basis. They're not assigned to a specific classroom based on the number of students. It's really as needed throughout the buildings. And I do echo the support that some people have mentioned. I believe that as I mentioned, the nurses, the teachers are doing an exceptional job in addressing the needs of the students and the district, and what they're doing is unprecedented, and it's amazing to watch. And I'm lucky to be someone who gets to go around and see what they're doing, and what they have done is truly impressive. The teachers and the administrators working hard to really do the best they can for the students in the district. So I echo those praises that some of the parents have made, and it's K-12 that we're seeing that. It's just an impressive way that the staff has stepped up and really addressed this head on and really tried to do that. And I think I hit the things, Mrs. Hans Silver. I don't know if I missed anything there. I don't think I did.
No,
And I think the first question was from David Garrett.
Yeah.
And he asked, I think his children, his boys, I think he said, were in the in-person and he wanted to keep them home Thanksgiving week.
Right.
And he wanted to know whether that would jeopardize somehow his in-person
No,
position.
as I said, if he had specific questions, the parent should contact the building principals. I think that's the best alternative to discuss those kind of individual situations. Moving back and forth between the cohorts is not going to jeopardize anything.
Feels like a good time too to mention people need to follow the overall state regulations if anyone is planning to meet with family for Thanksgiving, perhaps out of state or somewhere. That's all available online.
That's a very good point, Mrs. Tuck. The CDC has posted those regulations about travel restrictions and travel requirements. And I know we have a number of students who we've been notified will be traveling for the holidays or even for this week when the teachers convention comes in place. And they have talked with the building administration and worked out days that they will be required to work remotely. And then when that time is up, they can return to the in-person. And that all, once again, is in conjunction with not only the CDC guidelines, but the local health officials that we consult on all these decisions.
yes. And also, the New Jersey guidelines, which are changing in terms of which states, you have to adhere for the quarantine requirements and so forth. And then also, you did answer all the questions. The other thing I do want to add is on the FLBOE website, there is a link that we did post. It's the NJDOH COVID-19 health recommendations. There's a link and it's basically guidelines. So one of the questions that was asked is, what is the law/protocol of when schools need to close? And there really isn't clear-cut rules. That's the thing. I think since the summer, we haven't been given clear rules on anything. They're all they're all guidelines or suggestions or recommendations. So these are recommendations from the New Jersey Department of Health, and they do provide some scenarios with what the recommendation is. But even there, they say closure is a local decision made by school administration in consultation with the local public health official. So even from the state, there isn't clear-cut guidelines. If A happens, then you do this. But we did post it on our website so you can get an idea of what the recommendations are. So it is posted on our website. You just have to scroll a little bit because I know we posted it, I think, back in August when it was issued. But it is there, so it is available for anyone to take a look at. I think as cases come, and you hear about it, you may just wonder, oh, is the school going to close? So you could see what the DOH guidelines, recommendations are. So you can get an idea of what we're working with. Because I think as you hear about, other districts, sometimes there are districts that are closing for 2 weeks. There are neighboring districts that are actually, they never even went hybrid. There are districts that never even opened up for their hybrid plan and they're opting to stay remote. I believe Englewood is staying remote until January. There are some districts now that are opting to go full remote, back into remote until January. I would say we haven't discussed it as a board. I personally think we should stay hybrid as long as we can. So I would support whatever measures we can do to keep our kids safe and stay hybrid and keep in-person component as long as we can. So sorry, that was a really long-winded thing just to say that there's a link on our website so that you can look at it. All right, so let me.
So I just had a, go ahead, Paula.
Yeah.
Could I just ask Ken a couple of questions to clarify some of his answers?
Sure.
Just simple. One of the things that some of the public, when they're talking about collapsing cohorts, is utilizing Wednesdays now as a day where the cohorts would alternate each week to get more in-person time. And so I would hope that that is being given consideration. And you mentioned that the middle school and the high school, you're looking to increase the days maybe as soon as next week. Is there any firmer date that you could give us for a decision, whether it be lengthening the day, utilizing Wednesdays, going to school 5 days for the other schools other than the middle school and the high school? And we understand it's aspirational, but some type of target that we're going to be making some decision within the next 2 weeks, or it'll be middle of December, just something a little more concrete?
I would say before the end of the month, if we're going to do that, for the elementaries, we'll be moving in that direction.
Okay.
So Ken, kind of going off of Paula's question though, you know, the marking period for grades 5 through 12 ends on the 12th. So I know that we were supposed to give the parents 10 days before the marking period, I think it was, or 2 weeks, to be able to let us know whether or not they're going to be changing to in-person. Have we gotten any requests? Have they been notified? Where do we stand with that?
The parents have been communicating very frequently and freely with the administration about their choices, and the administration will be putting out a question basically to the parents at those grade levels to say, do you wish to change?
Right, so if once we get that response, I guess the other question that I have to, hopefully in the goals of getting more hours in and collapsing the cohorts, would be right now with the screening processes that we have in place, what is the participation like when it comes to submitting the electronic tickets that are there? Have we had any students have temperatures when they arrive at school that they didn't have temperatures when their parents submitted the questionnaires? Or how does that look?
The screening process is working well. It has been functioning through the each building. Really haven't had any major issues with that. We have had students who have arrived at school with symptoms after the parents submitted a all clear in the screener, and those students have been brought to the isolation rooms. The parents have been contacted, and generally the students are sent home. The nurses are overseeing that to see if, you know, sometimes there could be an error also in reading a thermometer. So they recheck and they do a quick assessment to determine those things. But we really haven't had any major issues, or that the parents have been very, very cooperative with that, and the system is working. The first week or so was a little bumpy, but I think once the parents got the hang of it, it really has gone very, very smoothly now through the whole process.
So do you think it would make sense, at least for the second marking period? I know that you said towards the end of the month we would have a better idea, but
well, for the elementaries.
Right. Okay. So then for the middle school, I guess it would be intermediate middle school and high school then, because it's grades 5 to 10, 12 that ends next week. I know that the concern was, well, if we end up having more people wanting to come back, then we would have to go back into the cohort schedule. But I think with the attendance that we have,
at least I don't think we're going to give up the cohort schedule either way.
Okay.
Yet I don't think, we know the numbers we have already don't dictate that we can do that and still maintain our appropriate distance and spacing and numbers in the classroom. What I was referring to more specifically was that the middle school, the 7-8 and the 9 through 12, because of the increased number of remote students, those cohort numbers are down. We may be able to go from an ABC to an AB for the students to be in person.
That's great.
So that would get, you know, more students into the building more frequently and eliminate that C cohort. Now, if we have a rush of parents wanting to return when they respond to us, then we'd have to hold off on that. But I don't see that happening. Our trending is going the other way.
Then I just also want to mention, because as Esther had said, with the guidelines, you know, that going remote or whatnot, it is up to administrators and the local health officials. So Ken, just thank you so much for involving the board members too and the community as you have with the decisions that you've been making. So thank you.
Yeah, it's something we look at all the time. And like I said, I speak with my colleagues regularly, and everybody's in a different situation. You know, we say we're all in a different boat, but we're kind of in the same storm. So it's, you know, even local neighboring districts have, as Mrs. Hans Silver mentioned, have gone full remote. Some have closed for 2 weeks, one building or another. And it's really looking at each case and seeing how it affects the district and, you know, where the numbers are, We have been very fortunate so far that our numbers have been very, very limited. And hopefully we'll maintain that. We can still maintain our model of instruction. Paul, did I get all your questions?
Yeah, I'm looking, for just like a timeline so
Yeah,
that.
I think, as I said, at the elementaries, hopefully by the end of this month, we'll be able to make a decision on that Wednesday. The other schools, we really have to look at the numbers again and just see where we're at.
Yeah, I hope it might be some combination, a lengthening of the school day with Wednesdays being alternating, or, collapsing cohorts,
Yeah,
whatever's doable.
The lunch is the big challenge, just working out
Okay.
logistics. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So Ken, I have a few questions. So the first question had to do with the clubs. And I believe that the clubs that the senior was mentioning was the Camera Club and the Key Club. So I was looking on the list of the clubs that are here, and I was just wondering why they wouldn't have been there, because some of these clubs are gonna, most of them are gonna have to be remote anyway, even.
Well, Holly, what I asked the principals, to speak to the club advisors, and if they felt confident that the club could work remotely, then they should send me a recommendation for that. So the ones I've received have gone on the agenda.
My concern is just that if she has been taking, one or both of these clubs for 3 years now, and she wants it on her resume, it's a little disheartening that she's not going to be able to get the benefit of having them for the 4 years.
Well, there's no cutoff, Holly. They may be on the next agenda.
Okay. The other thing, Deb.
I'm not cutting off any clubs and saying this is the deadline. We're saying let's see how we can make it work.
Okay. The other thing that I was concerned about was there were parents that were mentioning the specials, and I'm just wondering which specials they're having difficulties with.
Particularly, I think they're referring mostly to art and music. Those are the big specials.
Okay. So I'm hoping that we can rectify that for them.
Mm-hmm.
I would think in the primary grades, especially K and first and even second, that it could be kind of a, a collaborative kind of thing, being that they're so close in age and everything. So hopefully that can be done. The third thing that I wanted to mention is I've been noticing that on social media, there have been parents that want to go fully remote, and they're asking other parents how they go about doing that. So maybe we can send something or put something on the website, just telling them exactly who they should be contacting, because I wanted to answer. I just felt that it was inappropriate for me to answer, on who they should be contacting.
It's in the plan that's on the website, but I will tell you, to everyone here right now, that if they want to do that, all they have to do is contact the building principal, or we can put something out to that.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, every communication that the parents get, it says, any questions, concerns, please reach out to me. The principal says, so.
Well, we're all parents and we all know what it's like, and we tend to go to, ourselves, amongst the group kind of thing, as opposed to just running straight to administrators. We tend to ask each other, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Sometimes we get the right answer. Sometimes we don't get the right answer. So I just wanted something a little more clearer, if you want to go remote, do this. If you want to go here, do this kind of thing. Kind of like a real, ABC kind of thing.
Well, at the high school, they definitely knew how to do it, because in the last 2 weeks, they knew how to do it.
Yep.
All right. There's nothing else. We will move on to our resolutions. May I have a motion? Oh, you know what? I believe we are going to postpone one POL. So before we start with everything else, I will ask for a motion to postpone one POL.
Motion.
Okay, before we make a motion for that, I just want to make sure, because we've had contact already, our committee, and I just wanted to know, we're postponing it, but we're going to be making a decision on when we're going to have that committee meeting, correct, Diane?
Yes.
Okay.
A motion to postpone one POL.
Second, Colbath.
All right, motion Tuck, seconded by Colbath.
Mrs. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Mrs. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. May I have a motion to approve items 1B and 2B?
Motion.
All right. I know that was
Second,
Morel
Ramba.
and seconded by Richter.
Ms. Cho,
That's me and Han.
Yes.
Yeah. I usually.
Candy, I have Candy, you moved it, and Ms. Richter seconded. Do I have that wrong?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Ramba, and Morel, right?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Cho.
Whoever.
It was the other
Whoever
way.
did it, Dennis.
This is my first day on the job. No, do I have Ms. Ramba and I have Ms. Morel? Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
The yes or
So-
no question.
Roll the
Yeah.
dice.
Let it
Yes.
fly.
Ms. Colbath,
Whether you have it right or am I voting on the resolution?
You're voting on the resolution.
I know that.
Thought that was cute. Very good, Paula.
Yes.
Demaglio,
Yeah.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve item 1B and G?
Motion, Ramba.
Second,
Kim
Cho.
Morel.
All right, motion Ramba, seconded Cho.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. See, we're virtual, but we're still, as fun as ever. May I have a motion, may I have a motion to approve item 1 CUR?
Motion.
Ramba.
Okay, motion Ramba, seconded by Morel.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1F through 4F?
Motion Morel.
Go ahead, Holly.
Why don't we just, I'm not going to say anything.
Motion Morel, seconded by Ramba.
Thank you. Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1P through 17P?
Motion Morel.
Good,
Second,
Candy.
Ramba. Ralph, Mike, why don't you speak up? Second, Ramba.
I'm liking what's going on here, so why break up a good thing?
I'll be here all night.
All right.
I'm being very polite.
Ms. Cho,
I said we'd be here all night.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Okay, so on 4P, I'm abstaining to one name, but he's definitely very worthy of the position. And on 2P, it's with a heavy heart that I say yes, because he's been in our district for 17 years and he's phenomenal.
so noted. Ms. Richter,
Yes. Sorry.
it's okay. Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. On Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on. Now that we're done, is there any old business?
Yes, old business. So, I need to get in touch with Ken. We've been playing back and forth tennis to try to set up the Coffee and Conversation Committee to have a meeting. We tried to do this for September. That kind of went south. We tried October. We're in November. So maybe we can get together and just finally set something up with Paula and Lauren and myself and you and Diane and Esther and all the other people involved.
Great. Thank you. Any other old business? Okay, then is there any new business?
Actually, two things if it's okay. I know that we mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, Ken, but if you could just kind of run by again for the people, because we had up to 73 attendees, I think, not including the panelists at one point here. And I think next week, the next meeting is going to look very different. So if you could just kind of hash out again how that's going to look. Are we, even though we're going to be in the same location, have the same setup where we're all having our laptops like connected like usually before, or is it just one single camera? If we could just kind of go into the logistics a little bit more, and also the sign-up sheet when they could also expect who will allow in public or not.
Okay, I think, first of all, I think the numbers for the participants include the board members down here, Elisa, when you look at that. I'm not positive.
So there's actually panelists and then attendees, and I was looking at the attendees number. And I
okay, sorry, I wasn't looking at that.
Sorry, that's okay.
But yeah, the new meeting, the board members will be sitting
There's only 37 attendees.
similar like like in the past, they're sitting in the kind of a U shape in the auditorium at the intermediate school. Board members will still have their Chromebooks there because they have their documents on there. However, the image of the board members will be on one camera that'll show what's happening for the whole meeting. So it won't be individual like we see now with the Hollywood Squares. It'll be one image of all the board as we're there. So yeah, that'll be the different look. There'll be a very, as Mike and somebody else had mentioned earlier, there'll be a very limited number of participants based upon the MAC occupancy. And we have to come up with or finalize actually the method of people signing up to be in person. So
I guess my only concern, and maybe this is just too technical, but when it comes to the sound then, because if it is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the same camera that usually is at the BOE meetings where they're recording onto like an actual cassette tape or whatever else it is.
It's, and Mr. Ruggiero is right here. He's the one, taking care of this. I don't believe it'll be the same kind of a setup where we're just simply recording the meeting. Now, the meeting also has to be kind of a live Zoom and the same thing. So there'll have to be a laptop set up for someone in the public, who's there, who wants to speak. They'll have to be able to get up so they can be seen by the people who are remote. And the same thing, there'll need to be a screen for the board members so we can see the remote speaker. If they choose to turn on their camera, we can see who's speaking to us remotely.
So will Jason be there?
I believe so.
There you go. And just one other question, and I know it's hindsight, it's like Monday morning quarterbacking at this point, but by making Dennis the business secretary, we didn't like raise his pay scale now, did we? Just
I
saying,
think he's
Dennis.
at top pay already.
Just
So
saying, Dennis. I was just curious, Dennis.
I actually think that a discount on the rates are because he did not function as a lawyer at this meeting, but just simply an administrative.
You set that up so Colbath could knock it down, I guess. Is that
I think I could make a motion on that one, Paula.
Plus the fact that now that he is working for the board, I can evaluate him.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man. That's a rough crowd.
wait till we're in person.
All right. Any other new business?
Oh, if I could also mention, sorry, my
Yeah.
second thing. So as of today, I think it was like 4 o'clock or something like that, 14,216 ballots in Fort Lee have been cast, which is awesome. I think we have another 10,000 perhaps or so more left to be accounted for. So please go vote. And other people.
Good luck to all of you.
Good luck to everybody.
Good luck to everybody.
Kristen,
All right.
Good luck to all the candidates.
I guess for the policy committee, we'll just communicate via email about setting up the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
it's just that emails, it's like ping pong, and it's back and forth, and
Oh, I know. I got you, Holly.
All right.
sometimes you just want to get it done already.
All right. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Rubino.
Oh, second Joe.
All right.
All right. Motion Rubino, seconded
Do
by
you know that
Joe.
Mike has been waiting for the last 30 minutes to
Oh.
do that?
He pounced on that.
Exactly right, Colbert.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I'll even second it. Can I second it as well?
Second.
No, seconded by Cho. All in favor?
Aye. Good luck, everyone,
Any
tomorrow.
opposed? All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Stay safe.
Good night, everyone.
Stay safe.
Okay, thanks, Jason.